Hey, everybody. I feel like I just saw all of you just a few minutes ago. But welcome to the first official panel of our 10th Comic Art Live weekend. I'm going to be talking with Ed McGuinness about his career in comics and some other things I think that we both have in common, we just discovered. And we're going to be auctioning off a few pieces for the Hero Initiative. I've got 5 coasters that I think most people are pretty familiar with. I know the Hero auctions these off on eBay a lot. We've got a Batman, a Wolverine, a Hulk, and what were the other 2? Oh, that's right, Venom and Spidey. So these are all going to go, all the funds from these will go straight to Hero after the weekend is over. And certainly if anybody wants to make a super chat donation during this panel, we'll donate 100% of the proceeds from those to the Hero Initiative as well. So yeah, how's that? So let me bring in Ed here now. I have to tell you, Ed's not on camera because his camera's broken, but his audio works great. So, hey Ed, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Hi, everybody.
So if you've never met Ed, you don't get to meet him this time around. But everybody's familiar with your artwork, Ed, because it's a distinctive style. I think when people think about you, they think about your Hulk artwork, and they probably think about your Hulk artwork, and then I don't what do you think is like, after the Hulk, what do you think is your signature character or characters that you've worked on? Do you think people most think about when they think about your work?
Oh man, it's terrible work, and I can't look at it. And I'm surprised that they even hired me. But the Deadpool stuff is pretty. Yeah, that stuff's terrible. But I get a lot of people talking to me about that stuff. The Superman Batman stuff that I did with Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean I've done so much. My favorite thing that I'm doing right now in my career, actually, so far, I think, is Spider-Man. My first comic was a Spider-Man comic, and it's like I finally got to work on him after all this time in my career. It's just it's such a cool thing, and I feel like I've grown enough to actually do the character justice. So I'm not. I mean, I've been pigeonholed with drawing these huge characters, so it's awesome to just kind of be able to flex in a different way and really be kinetic with a character like Spider-Man and just the different physicality. But all these years of just working, my whole thing is I just want to keep growing and getting better. So hopefully my favorite thing's the next thing I do.
Right, of course.
It's hard to look back for me. I feel so cringy. I find everything wrong with everything I do. I'm like, ugh, I gotta work that out.
So how do you think you got pigeonholed with the muscle-bound characters? I mean, would you go into Marvel or DC for like the next gig, and they say you draw incredibly powerful characters really well, so we're going to put you on Superman, because we don't think you'd be good for a Joker book or something like that.
I think it was just my style and where I've evolved. Like from the beginning, I was drawing everything really blocky, and I've moved on so far away from that. But I think it just lends itself to it. But it was just the initial style, and it's not that I was trying to go for a style. I just didn't know how to draw good. It's not like I think I can now, but I feel like I'm a little more confident, and I've got a little more range in my repertoire. So, but it's just that simple. I just couldn't draw good.
Well, I'm going to have to go back and look at some of your more earlier work then, because I don't think that's the case. I feel like from the first time I saw your work, you could tell not only did you have a very distinctive style, but you knew how to draw. So
I appreciate that
way, huh?
I don't know. I'm just super critical, but I think that's part of what makes me just want to keep growing and moving forward and just getting better. I'm just influenced by like everything I see, and there's so much good stuff out there, and there's so much good art, and I just get excited looking at this stuff and channeling some of it that inspiration in my stuff. So I love the just the working part of it, and just I love it. It's just fun. It's very fulfilling.
Well, I mean, doing something you love. I mean, did you know growing up that you wanted to be a comic book illustrator?
Yeah, it was this or bagging groceries. So
I think at this point you would have at least gotten to the managerial level of working in a grocery store.
No, it's like it's terrible, but I just drew in school. And the funniest part is I think I got D's in my art class because I didn't draw anything that they wanted me to draw. I just did my own stuff.
Well, they're
It's
like,
terrible.
"You're too blocky, you know. What are you
Yeah,
trying? Nobody's shaped like this.
exactly.
Can't you draw from life, man?"
I know. Oh man. But yeah, no. It's pretty much all I've ever wanted to do. My cousin gave me a Spider-Man Electric Company comic years ago, and it was like the first thing. And ever since I saw that, I was just like, "This is the coolest thing ever." And it's all I've wanted to do.
Well, and then here you are doing it. So, I mean, there's a lot of your artwork on CAF. I'm always surprised sometimes because I don't always check like stats and things. But there's over 2,000 artworks of yours on Comic Art Fans. That's pretty remarkable. I mean,
that's
even to hit 1,000, 2,000. I mean, I know you use CAF, to post some of your art for sale and things too. But this is all primarily collected artwork, which is that says a lot when an artist is that well collected. Again, it talks about your longevity in the but also the fact that people really like the work, right? I mean, that says a lot, and I appreciate that. I mean, I love the fact that when I discover something like that, knowing that clearly so many people like your work a lot. And it's funny, I was going through it, and it's not the top pieces, like top views and comments aren't the published stuff. A lot of it is like commission work or what was it? There was a commission, a Hulk commission, a Juggernaut commission, some character designs. So it's surprising, what people are interested in looking at. You just never know. I mean, I'm looking at most viewed, but probably if I look at the most commented, it would probably be there's this one is I featured this one, that Incredible Hulk Christmas cover. That one was so awesome, and I should be showing this while I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, that was a really fun piece. That was really, really fun doing that. Just the difference, even like the other side of the Christmas tree. I think like the ornaments are broken. I just had it. Yeah, it was fun.
I didn't even notice that when I was first looking at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love immersing myself into the art and just like trying to tell a story on every level. Like whether it's character design, designing characters with certain shapes and subtle hints at things, just in the basic design to composition. I think there was a Superman issue like our world's at war or something, and the entire issue Superman was getting his backside handed to him. So I had the whole book going from I think all the action went from right to left, but then when in the middle of the book, when he decided, when he finally powered back up and he started taking over, that's when the book flipped and everything went from left to right for the forward progression. I love just subtle things like that, stuff that I only get entertained by, I guess, and maybe somebody picks it up, great, but that's what keeps me going with this stuff, is just telling stories on an atomic level, even just goofing around and having fun with it.
Well, you clearly do, and you've gotten some characters that are fun to work with. I mean, the Hulk is as a character. I mean, you can do pretty much what every artist kind of interprets the Hulk differently, right? I mean, I remember seeing when I first saw it, when you were drawing him, I was like, my gosh, I don't think I've ever seen him that bulky before, but it worked. After you saw a few of your drawings, you're like, all right, I get it. I get how you're looking at the character, and it makes so much sense. I mean,
thanks,
look at a piece like this. This is fun. I mean, because the Hulk should be gigantic and feel overpowering and be so large that he can't even fit him on a page, right? His fist is actually going off the page. That's cool. I mean, that's a different approach, but I mean, just the way you draw it just makes the characters feel so massive. And the Hulk was always fun, but. Let me see here. What was a couple of the other pieces I was looking at earlier? There's just some pieces here that we've seen a lot and featured them at different times on our CAF updates and stuff. This piece from you and with Farmers Inc. was awesome.
I love the Thing too. He's one of my all-time favorite characters. He's so cool.
You get to draw him a lot, or is it more of a rarity? I can't think
It's
of
a
how.
rarity. Whenever I get the chance to draw him, I definitely take it though. I love the fact that he's just second best at everything. He's such an underdog character. I love him. He's fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Always has a chip on his shoulder, deservedly so. But yeah, you drew him awesome in this one. I remember this was like just everybody loved this piece when it came out and got into my friend Chris's calf gallery. And I look at this, except for me, I didn't like it. Now I've fixed that. How did I miss that? I wonder why Chris hasn't brought that up to me before.
That's so funny.
But yeah, look through here a little bit more. But yeah, there's some good stuff in here. But you can see a lot of the most commented stuff is your Hulk work and Spider-Man next. And it looks like Paul P. He owns a lot of your art. See,
Oh yeah, he really digs my Spider-Man stuff, especially anything that has rec rap on it.
Mm-hmm.
Goofy, bizarro Spider-Man that I came up with that they actually used, which I was shocked.
Now, why was that? Was it more of you were doing it for fun
Yeah. I had this idea of like a human and a symbiote, as mixed together as like almost like a new life form type thing. And I had drawn pictures of the character just goofing around. It was like Venom in like a Spider-Man costume with like horse teeth. It's just like a goofy, his name's Parker spelled backwards. It's just a goofy, bizarro. Why does Spider-Man needs a bizarro? So, and then I pitched it to them, and then they took it seriously and used it, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Half the people love the character and half the people hate the character. So, but I got to draw him. It was fun.
Do you frequent any message groups with fans? Do you get to hear some people complain, or do you just kind of ignore all that?
I kind of I'm not online too much. I mean, I'll go on YouTube and watch YouTube, but that's it. I'm pretty simple. It's funny because you can get online and you can start reading reviews and you can read positive stuff and you get psyched, and then you read the negative stuff and you're like, oh, I can't even deal with life now, But it's I just kind of stay away from it and I just do my thing. And if Marvel is still willing to work with me, that I must be doing something right. So, I just kind of go with that, and I just try to enjoy what I'm doing and have as much fun with it as possible. And hopefully that trickles down to the fans and they enjoy it. So.
Well, clearly, I mean, they wouldn't keep you employed if the books weren't selling, right?
Yeah.
So that says something there. What is this? Marcus wants to know, are you happy with how your Red Hulk is looking for the Cap movie?
It's pretty funny because the first time I saw the trailer, like the teaser, the original like 2-second one, I was like, oh, that's so cool, but you only got to see the backside of them. Like,
right. It was a total tease. You knew what it was, but you got no idea how they were going to make the facials.
Yeah. But then I saw the more recent one, and my initial reaction was like, oh, I don't like this at all. This is so weird. But then I was like, but wait, that's Harrison Ford. and I'm like, this is their version of what, because I helped to create the character. So I've got a very specific thing. But then I just had to realize that this is that creation filtered through the MCU, and now I love it. With the newer trailer that came out and we got to see more of him, I'm just like, this is actually super cool. I'm excited for it. But initially, it's just because you get so attached to your own, not my own stuff, but it's like I have a certain vision for it. But just accepting the fact that it's Harrison Ford, that's amazing.
Well, I can tell you, I felt the same way. It just didn't feel right. But
yeah,
now I've settled into it that I'm going to see a Harrison Ford Red Hulk, and I'm going to have to like it. But yeah, initially it was like it wasn't. It was too distinctive. They put too much facial characteristics on him, and I didn't want to feel it like that. But I'm sure they're doing it just so you keep looking at him and seeing Harrison Ford.
Exactly.
They didn't need to do that. I mean, they could have made him just a little bit more nondescript or something.
Well, the whole thing with the Red Hulk when he first came out is nobody knew it was Thunderbolt Ross. So for story wise, it's like, I mean, I guess it's obvious that he changes, and it's Harrison Ford. But in the story, it was just the comic. That was the whole mystery, and that's why we were able to drag it out for 2 years, because everybody's like, "Who's the Red Hulk?" But yeah, it like you said, it was the initial thing. I was like, "Oh, I don't know," but I'm kind of just gonna let it go and see what happens, because the newer stuff did look kind of cool. So
agreed. You got a few compliments in the chat. Ian said one of his closest friends is a big Hulk collector, and he asked him what his favorite run was, and he said yours was. So that's good.
Wow.
We have
Thank you.
a lot of major Hulk collectors on Comic Art Fans. And then Will Lawson say, just killer stuff since day one, Ed. Strong and heavy blacks, brilliant layouts, self-styled, beautiful work. Damn it, now he needs to get one again.
Thank you.
No, I mean, that's we comic art collectors are an interesting bunch, right? I mean, we I don't know. Well, you've been on CAF long enough. You've seen what people collect, and how people. We actually have a panel tomorrow that's specifically on character collecting, right? Because there's people who collect art based on their favorite artists, and they're kind of a one way of looking at how to collect artwork, but the character collectors can get they're very particular. And so, because that's, I don't know, that to me is different. I used to be a character collector, sort of. There was a few X-Men characters I'd get early on when I was doing a lot of commissions, but I've become more of an artist collector, where I just like to get different things from as many artists as I can, irrespective of characters.
Yeah.
But so I mean, when do you see? I mean, how often you get out to shows? I'm kind of curious about that. Do you?
Oh boy.
You have a regular.
I was doing shows for a lot before COVID. I think I had like a 6-year run, and I did probably about maybe 4 or 5 shows a year. And then COVID happened. It was funny because it was New York right before COVID. Like I was at 2019. I don't know.
2020. Wait, right. It began at the end of 2019, and then 2020.
Yeah, it was right there in New York, and I was like, all right, I'm taking a break. I'm not doing shows for a year, because I was just burnt out from doing the travel, and then I think I was going to do Kansas City in March. That was the only show I was going to do that year, because I had promised it before, and then COVID happened, and it was like that weekend that everything shut down pretty much too. It was so canceled that show, and then I didn't do any shows for like almost 3 years. But I realized just staying home and actually working and maybe doing a couple commissions at home, I make more money. And I don't have to travel anymore. The airport's driving me crazy. So I do shows like every once in a while, but it's much more rare. And with my Spider-Man schedule, I've had more commission requests now than ever in my career, but I can't really take them, because that schedule on that book is a freight train, and once you're hooked in with the books that you got to draw, it's just gone, and you got to go and get it done, because it's bi-monthly, bi-weekly. Mm-hmm. So it's a rough schedule, but I love it. But so I don't really even have time for shows anymore. And commissions, I think I've got like 2 or 3 that one guy had been waiting for almost 3 years for one, and because I just had no time. Mm-hmm. I think I started on Spider-Man 15, and it's been nonstop since. But I love it. I'm not complaining at all. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah. Well, as long as you communicate to that person who's been waiting 3 years, you'll always be okay.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I make sure they know, because I used to churn them out. I did a lot of commissions, and I had fun doing it. But at this point in my career, just trying to put the work out at a high level as possible with some of the schedules is pretty demanding. So I don't like to cut corners on anything, whether it's commissions or regular work, or I just give it everything I got every time. So
sure. I mean, do you ever stumble on something on CAF that you wish you hadn't, you wish wasn't on CAF? I mean, does that ever happen? like an older piece of yours back when you were really drawing blocky characters.
Yeah, like that Superman. That's blocky as anything. Look at that. I mean, it has its own style to it, but I'm like, man, I was blind. I'm what I was doing, but I don't know. I don't own it, so I don't care. It's like if somebody likes it, cool. But for me, I'm
Right.
like, that's not the picture that I'm bringing out to kind of be like, well, help me figure out what I'm doing today.
Exactly. Use that image to get work.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't know. Once the art's out there, like you said, you have the perfect philosophy for it. At the end of the day, it's somebody's happy to have it. More power to them, right? Because
Yeah.
it's subjective, right? I mean, somebody that person who owns something that you did 15 years ago might not like your current stuff. That they like that stuff, and
I've had that happen. I'm like, you really like that? I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I do now, but at least I feel like I know a little more about, but people like what they like,
Yeah, and some of it that's nostalgia driven, right? I mean, maybe when they first,
True.
maybe you were writing a story, or part of a storyline, working on that book, and so that's where they think of you, and what they can't get around that. And that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever makes them a fan of your work, even if it's something you're not doing currently, it's still.
No, it's funny because that happens a lot with Deadpool, because like that was the first stuff, so I can't. I'm like, wow. I mean, I was so bad with my deadlines. I literally got fired from that book. It was terrible. But
no.
But I look at that stuff and people are still like to this day. But that's the key is the nostalgia, because Joe Kelly with the writing really put him on the map, and I was just there for the ride. He made the bad art look better with good words. So, yeah, when people are like, "Oh, I love your Deadpool stuff," I'm like, "You're probably gaslighting me. You have to be, because there's no way." But it's funny.
Very much so. And you mentioned the writers helping out. I mean, you've worked with a lot of good inkers, of course. Dexter Vines.
Yeah, amazing. Dexter's awesome.
He is. I've had him on a couple of different shows. He's such a good guy, and solid inker. I mean, or finisher. I don't know how you want to title the person who's following you in the chain. But I mean, I've always appreciated his work. He's very versatile, and then who else? Farmer. You've gotten to work with.
Yep, Mark Farmer, Mark Morales.
Morales too. Right.
Yep. Cliff Rathburn is really good, and Wade Von Grawbadger, really good too. Those guys, especially with like some of the Spider-Man deadlines, where it gets really tough, they'll come in and help. And I want to work with both of them individually at some point, but they help out so much, and they're just so good. But yeah. Farmer is amazing. It's one of the coolest things ever for me is growing up a fan of Mark Farmer, and now I'm his friend, and we work together on Spider-Man, and it's kind of surreal for me. Like he's one of my heroes, and inking Alan Davis and Dale Keown, and he was just incredible. And then to be able to actually work with him at this point it's such a cool thing.
Well, you've been in the business long enough that there's probably going to be a lot more, people that you're going to get to cross paths with and work with as well. But yeah, Farmer's, I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah.
There was some questions here. James Siegel wanted to know: did you keep a lot of that Deadpool art, or from the first run through the book?
No. I think I have one page that I gave to my wife when we first got married. But that's it. I mean, and I didn't back then. The art wasn't like it is now as far as the sales and stuff. So there was a guy. I think I was living in Massachusetts, and he was a huge Deadpool fan, and he'd come down and buy a ton of stuff from New Hampshire from me. So that there's some guy out there that's got a lot of Deadpool art, and I was just happy to be like, wow, you're really gonna give me money for this stuff? Because I would give some of it away, and because I didn't understand the value in comic art back then. I mean, it was like, that was 90, 96, 97 maybe. It was a while ago, 98. But Yeah, I don't have
Yeah,
anything.
that's around when I started collecting, and those were we were almost, that was kind of a point where art was still fairly affordable.
Yeah.
And like you said, none of us really understood what the value of the art could be. I mean, I was buying John Byrne X-Men pages for like $2,500. I mean, you can't touch one for $50,000 now, right?
It's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite runs too. That X-Men stuff is just incredible.
Yeah, but just reserve yourself to the fact that you're not going to ever own one. I have. I've sold all the pages I had. I sold a long time ago, and I regret it. I think I would have paid for my kids' college 3 or 4 times over for all 3 of them, if I would have kept the 5 pages back in the day. But that's that's the challenge. I mean, one of the things that that I guess we kind of regret are that kind of period in art collecting where it was more affordable. And but at the same time, the thing is, it's not like page rates are going up dramatically for artists in that same time frame. So the fact that you guys get to be paid the value for the work that you're doing, in the aftermarket, I think is just great. I hope that that the younger generation is seeing the fact that guys and gals in the business who are still working traditionally are making a very good living because they work traditionally and they have an aftermarket for their work.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And I remember talking to a younger artist too about that. And I'm like, he was like, oh, well, I don't care about the money. And I'm like, yeah, but that's fine. I said, I have kids. So it's like, I'm going to try to maximize, my potential while I can. It doesn't mean I'm money driven at all. But there's also the other aspect that there's a physical legacy out there of stuff where, it doesn't just exist on a computer screen. Like you can go look at it, touch it. And it to me, that has so much more value. It doesn't mean the art's better, but, just the physical idea that I can grab a page and look at the texture. And, when Mark will send me some of the originals back and I'm just looking at it, I'm like, it looks really good on the iPad or the computer when I look at the scans. But when I look at the actual original, I'm like, there's stuff that people are not even seeing. But, original art collectors, you can get that extra appreciation there. So, yeah, I love working traditional. It's super satisfying.
Well, it makes us happy too. Who knows where we're going to be 100 years from now, right? But right now, the more people who keep working this way, the better. Like you said, there's nothing, you're in that unique position where, you're penciling the stuff, you're sending it off, and then you get to see a lot of it when it comes back to you. I mean, it's got to be gratifying because, we're making comics as a team effort, and by and large, I mean, there are some people who write, draw, and ink their own stuff, but probably letter it and color it too. But it's such a collaborative process that I would think just getting some of those pages back and getting to see how the inker kind of chose to handle your work is got to be fun, right? And it's got to be like opening a Christmas package once a month or something. At least I'd be excited to see it.
Yeah, it'll actually directly affect how I'll pencil. Like when I was working with Mark Morales, I knew. I would see how he would ink certain things and I'd be like, wow, I never kind of thought of that. And then I would incorporate that type of imagery into my pencils. So, cause I knew he would riff off of that even more. So it's actually kind of fun because it makes the process even more organic. Like one of my favorite things with Farmer is how he does some of the background detail and the texture. And I will pencil now, giving him indicators because I know what he's going to do with it, and I'm excited to see the return. It's really fun. It's very collaborative.
Yeah, that's awesome. I envy you. Like I told you when we were in the green room, I went to art school. I wanted to be doing what you're doing, but now I do this, and it's gratifying in its own way, but not quite what you get to do. And
yeah, but what you're doing is pretty cool too. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
It has its moments.
Yeah, it's a cool
I get to hang out and talk with you on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, but you're just immersed in this whole culture, and it's really cool. I mean, I love art. I just don't collect it. I'm the type of guy, I'll take a photocopy. I just like the art. But the idea of like I said, having the originals and stuff, I know the second probably in a couple of years, as the kids are all gone, I'll probably end up start buying stuff, and my wife will kill me. But I'm like terrified to start at this point, But,
yeah, it's
yeah,
not the best time to be a new fledgling art collector, but
no,
there's still affordable stuff out there. It's just you got to work a little bit harder, but that's kind of the name of the game anymore. The guys who can who network well, who get in there and ask a lot of questions of other collectors and artists, and that's how they typically can unearth pieces that haven't been on the market for a while. You got to work hard at it. That's the thing.
no.
But at the same time, it's never been more readily available than ever before, right? I mean, whether it's through Kafka's, all the people who sell there, or I mean, we have more art reps and auction houses than we've ever had, right? I mean, there's an auction seemingly at least 4 nights of every week. So
Yeah,
it's out there.
it's cool. I love getting the newsletters and seeing all the art in the newsletter that's posted, and the different some of the auctions coming up. I'll literally save image files from the emails because some of them are so cool.
Well, hey, I saw a question here from, where was it? Jerry Bourne wanted to know if we were going to be showing any art for sale. We're going to be showing off some hero coasters. I think put that in one of the mailings, but we got 5 of them. We're going to auction them off. Probably I'll start doing those fairly soon because I don't want to make the panel go too late. But we've got 5 of those. That's what we're doing. All the revenue goes to the Hero Initiative, and if anybody wants to make a super chat donation during the stream, I will donate that to the Hero Initiative as well on Monday. So that's what we got there. And then Henry has asked this question. He asked this question, I think, almost every panel I've got. So I'll just throw it to you. And he said, who are some of your favorite artists that may have influenced your style? Michael Golden, and he's asking specifically, is Michael Golden one of them?
Oh, Michael Golden absolutely is one of them. That Amazing Fantasy with Spider-Man and the Hulk is just one of my all-time favorite books to look at. That book is incredible. My first influence was definitely John Byrne. Still, I love everything. John Byrne, X-Men, the Fantastic Four stuff, the Superman stuff, Alpha Flight. I love all that stuff. It's so good. A huge influence. I think my next one was like Art Adams. Once I discovered Art Adams, I was like, I never looked back. He's so good. Yeah, Michael Golden. I mean, there's just so many to name at this. After those guys, and some Capcom artists from the Street Fighter stuff, that was a huge influence on me too.
That's funny. Now the moment you say that, it's like,
yeah, that's probably where the blocking has come from.
Yeah.
So that's probably where it comes from, because it was so influential. I was Joe Madden and I back then, we used to talk all the time, and we were super influenced by that Capcom stuff and anime or manga in general. But yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff now, and it's so funny because growing up as a kid in the 90s, well, I grew up in the 80s, but a comic fan, super fan in the 90s, and really wanting to draw. I didn't really discover Kirby or Buscema until like my mid 20s, and then I did, and I was like, my world was blown. That was it. So I think Buscema is my all-time favorite, hands down. I just got the Wolverine, Essential Wolverine black and whites that he did with Jansen and Sienkiewicz. That stuff is just insane. It blows me. It's just insane. It blows me away how good it is. And then you have Byrne doing issues in there too. But yeah, I think Buscema is my all-time favorite comic artist. He's just incredible.
Yeah, no, Big John is definitely, he should be in the pantheon of comic book illustrators. He is, clearly. I mean, I think he's influenced so many creators, irregardless of their style. I mean, he just had a way with his work. And I mean, it's amazing sometimes when because he was so prolific, and you look at what inkers were able to do with some of his rough layouts, because they just had worked with him so much. John knew how much detail he could put in and leave out to let the people come in and finish it. It's really interesting, when you dig into the process of, for him in particular. Sorry, I'm looking through these here, but we're at 35 minutes into this, so we might as well do some of the do these card art auctions, if that's okay with everybody. I'm sure it's okay with you, right, Ed?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right. So let's see here. So I've got 5 coasters for the Hero Initiative. I think everybody's fairly familiar with these. You can see the Batman one that we're going to be starting off with. They're standard size drink coasters. They're always on eBay. The Hero Initiative auctions these off through there. Ed did these specially for the show this weekend. So I hope you guys are interested in picking some of these up. And they're really nice. And like Ed was just saying about 20 minutes ago, you don't get out to shows too often. So getting to pick up anything, that's at this level, like a con sketch or something, doesn't happen too often. So let's see. Yeah, they do. And they have the Hero Initiative logo on the back. I was looking at the front and I didn't see it. They're on the back. And any rec wrap? No, there is no rec wrap. Marcus, I don't think, Ed was probably thinking that might not have a lot of fans in the, in the chat that would want to pick one of those.
It's like 50-50. It's 50-50.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I see Alberto's in here too. Alberto, there's no Captain America, but there's plenty of, there's 4 Marvel characters in here and 1 Batman. So yeah, you came in at the right time because we're going to do the auctions for these pieces now. So we want everybody to just remember, I'm going to show the artwork on a slide so you can bid on it, and I want you to place your bids in the chat. We'll start them. They're going to be starting at $50 each. So don't bid $1 at a time. Give me reasonable $10, $20 bids or whatever, so that we can get cut to the chase early. All of this is going to the Hero Initiative, so it is absolutely 100% for charity. If you, for anybody who wins any of these today, you're going to be emailing me, bill@comicartfans.com, after the show is over. And do I have a slide? Yeah, I do. Look at that. All right. So that's the email address. Anybody who wins, I want you to shoot me an email. I've got a busy day. I might not reply to you until much later tonight because I've got 4 other panels to do or manage, but I will get back to you. So just bear that in mind, and I'll throw my email address up there one more time before we're all done here. So $11.11 increments. That's okay, Jerry. Whatever works, as long as it's higher than 10. At 10 or more is what I'm good. Jason, I know how to reach you if you win, so that's okay. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Batman piece. And remember, just place your bid in the chat, and it keeps it really simple. We're going to start the bidding at $50 for this one. And Batman, what do we got to say about Batman, Ed? I mean, we don't get to see the scale or anything here, but is Batman one of your characters of choice to draw if you have the opportunity to kind of kick back and work on something?
Oh yeah, he's always fun. The costume's just so iconic and incredible. He's just so fun to draw. It's just I think it was the Bruce Timm stuff that really made me a super fan of, and it super influenced my stuff. But yeah, Batman's awesome.
Oh, and one reminder I should tell everybody too, I always forget this, is that if you're on YouTube, and I'm sure most of you are, there's a live button right underneath where the little highlighted Gabe bid is at 75. Click live, because that'll move you up to as live in the stream as humanly possible, which makes it a lot easier when you're placing bids on stuff. Because if you're buffering, you could be 5 or 10 seconds behind other people in the chat. And so like how Mike placed a bid of 70 after Gabe, I'm thinking Mike is a few seconds behind Gabe and didn't know there was already a $75 bid. So hit the live button and you'll be in really good shape as far as placing bids on stuff today. And outside of that, I don't think I need to remember to tell you to do anything, but that's the main one. So Gabe's the high bidder. Oh, well, as soon as I say that, then Brian has come in with an $85 bid. And I will say this, because we're actually a few seconds in the future, don't try to snipe on these things. Just if you want it, put your bid in there that you feel confident about. If somebody outbids you and you want to bid over them, do it quickly. Because if I say it's going to end in 10 seconds, trust me, we're already 5-6 seconds ahead of you in the future because of the way streaming works. You will be left out. So just don't snipe. Put in a bid you're confident might win for you. So Brian E has the high bid of $85. And if I don't get another bid in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to call Brian the winner on this one. And we'll move on to the next lot. Bill is in the future. That is right, Jason. That's so true. But that's exactly where I like it. That's keeps me ahead of things. All right. So Mike, you've made it in there at just at the edge there. So a $90 bid.
Mike. That's awesome.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. Do you have a favorite Batman artist, Ed? I mean, do you think who would you cite as an influential Batman artist for you? Because there's many, obviously. You could even say John Byrne again.
I honestly, Bruce Timm.
Okay.
I think Bruce Timm.
Well, that kind of makes sense. You said the 90s were your comics era, so I could see, Bruce Timm was making such a big impact on animation at that point too.
Yeah. When I think of Batman, I think of his stuff. So I guess that's where I'd go. Yeah. And that's not there's so many good Batman artists. It's
that there are. So I'm going to say 10 seconds. We're going to close this one out and move on to the next one. Mike is the top bidder on this one. Thank you very much, Mike.
Congratulations, bro.
And I know Mike knows my email address. So there we go. So thank you, Mike. We're going to give that one to you. We're going to move on to the next slot. And that one is, we're jumping right to the Hulk. I don't know, and I don't know how I did these in the order that I did them, but I did them anyway. Hulk is second. I probably should have ended with the Hulk, right? But throwing them out here early. So, I mean, when you back when you were regular going to shows, was the Hulk usually a favorite request from your fans?
Yeah, a lot of Hulk, a lot of Deadpool, Wolverine. Oh man, yeah, a lot of Hulk though, definitely.
Well, that makes sense. And I, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, there is a Wolverine coaster as well. So they'll make a good set if you win the Hulk. I'm just saying the Wolverine would go really well with it too. So what do we got here? We got a few bids that came in from Ian and Jason and James. Jason again, but Ian Saint has a $90 bid in right now. So thank you. Oh, and Nick has come in right with a $150 bid. I like that. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very, very nice. So I'm trying to make some notes here while we're doing this, but yeah, these now you've worked with the Hero Initiative a little bit, right? I mean, I feel like I've seen a few of your pieces, that they've either auctioned off on eBay or whatnot. How long have you sort of assisted them here or there?
Oh man, I've known Jim McLaughlin for years, so for a long time, I'll do stuff here and there. He'll ask me to, do work on a blank or something, and I've done some of the coasters. We did some stuff during COVID, but yeah, I've worked with them for a while.
Well, as have I. So we're gonna say 10 seconds on this one, and then we're gonna call this one for Nick K. I'm not gonna Cambours. I'm probably just butchered that, so that's why I usually I should stick to an initial for most people's last names. I didn't know there were two N's in your last name, Ed, until I went to post the show, and I'm like, shoot, I almost got your last name wrong. I'm terrible with that.
Yeah, it's like the bear or the Book of World Records. So
exactly. Well, clearly I'm not very good at spelling. Oh, I did. I got it. All right. Well, we're going to give this one to Nick. Thank you, Nick. $150 gets the Hulk. We appreciate that, and so does the Hero Initiative. Jim McLaughlin sends his love. So let's see here. We'll move on to the third lot, and it's a Spider-Man. So the character anybody who's reading comics right now is thinking about you associated with this character. And like you said, it's interesting given the fact that you've been drawing these bulky big characters for so long, and now you have to draw somebody who isn't quite that same size and shape, but it sounds like you're really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love Spider-Man.
All right, we got Brian came in, and then we're at 75 right now. I see Dave Kopecki had a $60 bid, and James had a 61.11, but Mike is tops with 75. And please, everybody, don't use these as drink coasters. There probably is not kind of like poly sleeves for these that are proper, but definitely put these in a safe place. Don't use them. Although these might look good in a on a back wall behind a bar, just as long as nobody uses them. They need to know they're not safe for drinks. All right, well, Mike's still got the top bid at 75. If we don't get another one in, no, they're not usable, James. I'm sorry. Don't do it. Laminate them and use them. You could do that, but if you ever wanted to, maybe pass it on to your family or sell it later, that's laminating is probably not the right way to go. Although, Ed, if you've been around a while, you've probably seen, lamination of some comic card pages has happened over the years. It's always
has it? I've never seen that.
People in the 70s, when they were buying art, laminating stuff was a thing. So
wow.
I've seen about probably about a dozen pages that have been laminated over the years, and it's kind of sad. I mean, they do actually look okay, but it just it makes you cry when you actually see it done. But hey, we're going to call 10 seconds on this one too, and if no one puts another bid in, Mike has got his second card of the night, or afternoon. See, I'm used to doing these shows in the evening. What happens to the laminated pages? Well, more than anything, William, it depends on if they leave it out in the light or not. But if they don't, they still look good. But the end of the day is, I mean, you've got this clear, heavy plastic that's now over the. Yeah, you're right. It's Marcus Wise got it. It's like a placemat. That's what it feels like. Right size, everything, right shape. So, all right, Mike, you're going to get the Spidey. So, thank you once again,
Mike, for the win.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, you still might. I don't know about getting them removed. Garbelius plush. I mean, it's possible, certainly possible, but I think probably, I don't think you'd want to. I'd be too worried. It would peel off the ink one way or another. So let's see. We got two more of these to go. I'm going to switch over to Venom. Now, Venom feels like right up your alley to draw it. I mean, as far as like just mean looking character and a lot of muscle, but did you draw, was Venom in a lot of the stuff you had done prior?
I only got to, I think he was in Spider-Man issue 16, and it was like, besides a cover, I think the only time I've ever been able to draw the character, and I had a blast with him. He's one of my favorite characters growing up. I mean, that McFarlane run was just amazing. Loved it. Super influential to me. So, all
right, well, we're at $80 here with Dave Kopecki, and Mike mentioned that he's using these as Christmas gifts. That's a great idea.
That's awesome.
It really is. I mean, art is something to be shared. At the end of the day, you can't say that a lot. If you give like one of your pals a comic book who doesn't really appreciate comics, I mean, it's probably not going to be too happy. But art, you can always if you frame it for them, they got to hang it on a wall. So I like that idea, Mike. I've given away art many times as Christmas and birthday gifts, just because why not, right? It's you get to be a patron of the arts and share your love for the hobby at the same time. And Stingray's giving out art to 3 people this year. Good going, Stingray. Well, we're at $80 on the Venom, and if we don't get another bid in 10 or 15 seconds, we'll just move it right along to the final piece of the day, the final coaster of the day, which is the Wolverine. Dave Kopecki, who I think has got a lot of activity in his booth. He's when the booth's opened at 11, I saw a lot of views and saves going on in Dave's booth. So he's got some good stuff out there. Jason, I saw your booth had some too. I don't know. Oh, you even had a sale. That's right. I saw Jason he sold a Paul Smith artwork, I think. All right. Well, we're calling this one for Dave, and we're going to switch over to the last coaster here. Wolverine. This is a very nice rendering of Wolverine. You got him out there in the Great Northwest, or I guess maybe in Canada, who knows? But or maybe Maine. Maybe
yeah, it's in my backyard.
Exactly. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. You do live in Maine. I think that's awesome. I told you I had I don't know why I sold that property, but I lived in Maine for a year after I went to school in the Boston area, and Maine's just a beautiful place, and so I'm jealous that that's where you're at. But yeah, this could be your backyard. Nathan's got a 125 bid in there. Len,
oh, that's cool.
Len Richmond, you were at 100. Thank you for that, and Nathan Haley and Jason for getting us started on this one. Sean Murphy says he's not seen you around, and he lives. Maine's a big place. definitely a big place. When
I
I was there.
think he lives in northern Massachusetts. I live in Maine.
Ah,
I'm just kidding. No, I'm like up in Bangor, so.
yeah, I didn't get over there too often, even though I was close by. But because Belfast's not too far from there, I forget the name of the small town where I was at. I want to say it was like Lincoln, but I know that's not
Yeah.
right. But it was
I
about
think Belfast is about 40 minutes away from me. Maybe. It's beautiful down there on the coast, though. It's absolutely beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, I was about 10 minutes from the coast. And that was the great thing about Maine. Property was, at least when I was looking in the mid 90s for property, Maine was cheap.
Oh, yeah.
When I bought those 50 acres I told you about, I think I spent $17,000, maybe even less.
That was the thing. It's like drawing comics, you can pretty much, you make the same pay wherever you lived. And living in Massachusetts and, where I was in right outside of Boston, it was getting dangerous. People breaking into homes while people were sleeping, families. And our third kid was on the way. And Maine was just safe and cheap, and I haven't looked back. I love it up here. I think we've been up here for maybe 20, almost 25 years at this point.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it.
Who needs 50 acres? I don't know. Hey, it just felt right. So, I mean, come on, if you could spend $17,000 and own 50 acres, you would too. So I think we don't even need to say a 10 count. Nathan Hanley has picked this one up at 125. Thanks, you, Nathan, for picking this up, Nathan. You got a good one there. So yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, I'd buy 17 acres or 50 acres for $17,000 all day. I could do it again today. And the funny thing was back at that time, because this is probably around the same time when you moved up there, properties like right on the coast were even cheaper. I mean, you probably don't live right on the coast, but boy, you could get like a 3 to 5 acre lot that was right on the coast, and it would only have been about 20 grand, 25. I mean, it was ridiculous. And that would be like near the highway. So, you actually could get power and maybe even get city water, all those that I wasn't going to get on my 50 acres. But enough of that. Ed, this was, I think we did a good job for the Hero Initiative. They'll be happy that we sold these posters.
Thanks to everybody. Seriously, that's so cool.
Well,
Hero Initiative was great.
Yeah, no, I know Jim will be happy. And again, I appreciate you being the first panel of the day. I saw somebody said, it's just we're going to announce that Ed goes to we have a show in Orlando in January that we've been doing. And no, we did not ask Ed to go to OAX. But if you're ever open to coming down to Orlando, I could put you on a list for the future, Ed, because I know, clearly you don't get out to shows a ton. And, if you're ever in the market for getting out of Maine in the middle of winter, and I know when
it sounds appetizing, believe me. This year, I think with my deadline, it's like ending right around that time, but I would definitely consider coming down. Orlando.
Okay, awesome. I'll definitely put you on the list because clearly I think, again, that's, well, and I can just tell by the conversation we had today, you would fit in really well with the kind of the approach we've taken to that show. But yeah, I'm with you. That's why we put it in late January. It may move to February at some point early, but the idea was let's keep it outside of regular con season and put it in a warm place in the winter so that, it gives people a reason for wanting to, take a little vacation and, get out of the cold. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, man, thank you for doing this panel, and I'll be in touch with Jim. But if there's ever anything that I can do for you, let me know, because you're on CAF all the time. I think I feel like I try to run when I see like you post new art for sale or something. I know you don't. At least I don't see too many announcements or wherever they're going, but I always try to figure a way to try to share them. So hit me. You got my email address. Shoot me an email if you want me to announce.
Sure,
something.
I will, absolutely. I just don't want to bug you because I know you run this giant website and. There's so much going on. I just don't like to make waves, but no, I appreciate that, Bill. Thank you.
No, it's not making waves. I wish more people thought to reach out to us to do it. I mean, we really, there's a lot of artists who utilize the site, and I wish they, it's okay. I want to be able to help. That's why, and you've been.
No, that's cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for everything. You made this not painful at all. I'm so embarrassed doing interviews because I'm like, people are gonna realize how stupid I am, and they're just gonna like, we don't like Ed anymore.
Oh man, no, not at all. But all right, man. Well, we enjoy the rest of your weekend. I appreciate you
You as
doing
well.
it. Everybody in the chat. As soon as this stream is over, it will shuffle you over into the next panel, which is the IC3 panel, the indie discussion. Remember that this Comic Art Live, we actually opened up an indie artist hall. And there's
Oh, that's
about
cool.
Yeah, we actually picked up a show in Connecticut as a company. We are now the owner of an independent show,
I
and we
think I
felt
just
like
saw that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, the thing is, we want to find new ways to support artists, and I think that I've always been an independent guy. I mean, you probably drew comics for fun before you were a professional.
Oh,
I mean.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like it's supporting the things that I loved when I was a kid, and so working with independent artists and guys and gals who are trying to make a name for themselves is it's important. It feels like I'm kind of coming full circle. I'm getting back.
Giving back. It's amazing. That's super cool. Super cool. I think
Exactly.
some of the best stuff in comics is happening independently. These days, it always has. So it's really cool.
Where would we be if we didn't have Ninja Turtles, right? I mean,
exactly.
That right there. So anyway, see, we have so much more we could talk about, Ed.
I know.
Anytime. So listen, you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and everybody enjoy the rest of the panels. And thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll talk to you again.
Thanks everybody for stopping in.
All right, take care.